Ghana, welcome to another exciting episode of Fruits of the Womb, your authentic source of maternal and child health information. My name is Dr. Vera Bayu. The WHO defines health as a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being. A lot of the times we focus on the physical aspects of health, leaving out the mental health issues. Mental health generally hasn't received the attention that it requires, and worse still is even the issue of mental health in children. Today on Fruits of the Womb, we look at mental health disorders in children. It's going to be very informative. You're going to learn so much you didn't know before, and so I hope that you and join us after the commercial break.
Presence has changed my life. Your tenderness makes me want to take care of you forever. And I promise I'm gonna protect and bacteria.
Type Fruits of the Womb and you can post your questions and contributions to our videos. You're welcome, lady and gent facilities. Kobe. Of the signs and symptoms that these children may exhibit to suggest that they have a mental health disorder. Because, for instance, for an
experience
that every child or adolescent, they may be eating too much,
okay,
and sleeping enough, different symptoms. I have a stomach ache, and this child goes to hospital every day, and they don't find it.
The child, if you become too stern,
Promise that I will give soft skin and.
Welcome back. This is Fruits of the Womb, brought to you by kind courtesy of YouTube. Type Fruits of the Womb show, and you can have access to all of.
So the baby may present with feeding. Yes, so it's been found that babies can
Suffer depression.
Yes, when they have been exposed to significant trauma. Children who have been raised in orphanages, it's not the same as being in a home where the attention is more. So there are so many more children, they are just fed. Yeah. There's no warmth, there's no attention. Like he said, the nature is very important. So as early as babies, they can suffer depression. Most of the time it's not picked up. So throughout childhood, depression can occur when the risk factors are there. So when there's any form of childhood trauma, now we see a lot of childhood abuse in different forms. So we have physical abuse, we have sexual abuse going on, and once these things have happened, the child may be predisposed to depression.
Is there any help for children with mental disorders? Like real help? What are the treatment options available?
There are quite a number of them, though we are limited with facilities. But with the existing facilities...
Which facilities are available now?
Well, I think for me, I have Kolebu.
Okay.
And she has Accra Psych.
Yeah. Yes.
Aside the two, we also have the Pantine and the psychiatric hospital. Then we have the Ankafo psychiatric hospital. Then we have some of the psychiatric units or departments in some of the teaching hospitals.
And do these have pediatric units?
Yes, so that's the issue. So in general, we don't have a lot of trained, specialized child caregivers. So currently, we only have 2 trained psychiatrists who can manage childhood, who are specially trained, who are here now.
For the whole country?
Yes.
And she's one.
Yes, and then we have a psychologist as well, one, who is trained to handle children. But all the mental health workers have some training, but they need, it's not the same as adults. As you can see. Yeah. So they need special training. We need more facilities. Like you said, they are limited. Even mental health care for adults is limited.
It's a challenge. How much more children?
And you can imagine. Yeah. So we need much more specialized training, and it has to be a part of a pediatric unit, ideally, because like I said, most of the children with mental health problems have other problems that
as well.
Yes, and it will also reduce the stigma. You can imagine if a child comes to a big hospital, Kolebu, children's block, and then the psychiatrist is there. it's much better
Yes.
because they don't have to go to a big psychiatric
And the
hospital.
pediatric units will look more friendly,
to them.
colorful,
Exactly.
and they see other children.
There. It's much friendlier, it's better. So we still have all these challenges, but the help is there. Even in the communities, the mental health nurses, they are all trained to pick up the signs and do some intervention. But we have a long way to go.
What's the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist? Are they the same?
No, they are not. They are not the same.
Okay.
They are different. So generally, psychologists tend to do more of what we call talk therapy. That is in layman's term.
Okay.
So they tend to do more of the talking. They use talking as a form of therapy. And to partly answer your question, that's the main thing we try to use in children as much as possible. So we try more to use the no medication method until we really need to, because we don't want to expose the children to too much medication. And in some cases, we don't have a choice. So we use the medication when it is needed. But the psychologists do the talk part, and then the psychiatrists do the medication
when needed.
But we work together.
So viewers, like you know, every week we have the question of the week, and usually this question is on the topic that has been discussed in studio. And if you get the answer right, you might win a prize from our sponsors. So for this week, the question is...
The following may be signs of mental health problems in children, except A. Aggressiveness, B. Withdrawal, and C. Good handwriting.
Send your answer to the number on the screen. Let's check out last week's winner.
The answer is B.
Congratulations. Most parents don't spend a lot of time with the children. And for most parents, they get up early in the morning, off to work. For some, they don't even see the child wake up in the morning. And by the time they come back from work, child is asleep. And so they may not have the benefit of observing the child and noticing any difference in the child's behavior. What advice do you give to caregivers generally, be it a good house help? And Nani, you hope that your house help is observant, or parents generally, and teachers, because teachers spend a lot of time with our children.
So the first thing is that it's true that we are busy and we don't really have much time to spend with our children. But most of the problems, the mental health problems, show us changes in behavior. So if you are not there spending time with the child, you may not see the changes in the child's behavior. Yes, and most of the time, the earlier the problem is picked up, the better it is for the child. So we institute treatment early, and for the whole family as well, because those who work with children, we know that the child is the window to the family. And when there's a problem with a child, the whole family suffers. So the better it is for the whole family. So we need to just pay attention. It doesn't have to be too much time, but the quality of the time. So it may be that you are driving home from school, but you have a conversation with the child instead of the radio being on. And making noise. So you can pick up risk factors especially. Because there are times when I've seen children who have been abused continuously over 3 years, and the parents are not aware. That is just because they are not interacting enough with the children. So whoever the caregiver, it may be grandma or an aunt or whoever, you need to interact with the child. If a child is spending too much time on their own, on TV or gadgets, you need to try
further.
Yes, so that you'll be able to pick up the problems when they start showing up, or even pick up risk factors. Sometimes a child is being bullied in school, but if you don't talk to the child, you will not know until the child breaks down. That is when you know that something has been going on.
I'm glad you said the child is a window to the family, because I remember a case of a 10-year-old who came in with bedwetting. And this was a smart girl. When I spoke to her, she looked like someone who was very assertive, yet she was bedwetting. And she hadn't been previously known to have this challenge. We probed further. We couldn't find any physical problem with the child, so we referred to the psychologist. And later we found out that there were serious problems at home. Parents were not in good terms, and the child was suffering a lot of psychological stress. So I'm glad you brought that up, that the child is the window to the home. And sometimes when you see a child with a problem, it means that there may be a bigger problem at home. Probably.
Okay, so I would equally add to what Doc had earlier said, that we should encourage the children to share. If they won't talk, they should sing their problems. If they can't sing, they should write. If they can't write, they should draw whatever thoughts or issues is going on in their mind. And we would plead the policymakers and those in the institutions to also put in measures, as we are requesting families to do that and to bring their children to the facilities. We should establish the facilities very well. We should make it very accessible that they can easily reach us and be able to find the right help.
So thank you, Dr. Selati Adom of Accra Psychiatric Hospital, and Mr. Kelvin Odonko, aka Kobe Blay, for joining us today on Fruits of the Womb. And viewers, I hope you've learned a lot from today's episode. Remember that children can also have mental health problems. And once you observe any change in your child's behavior, be you a parent or a primary caregiver or a teacher, it's important to report to the nearest health facility for appropriate management or referral. So thank you. Hope to see you same time next week. My name is Dr. Vera Bayu. Remember, God loves you. Stay blessed.